Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200. Now we're doing the preseason previews of the top 25, and the number 5 slot is taken up by Sacred Heart College. That's who I've picked as my number 5 team in the nation, and for pretty good reason actually. They have lost some players, like of course Hoskins is gone, and also Jack McHugh is gone as well. But I think maybe the second most dangerous backline in the country, I think, goes to Sacred Heart, and this is what puts them at a massive advantage over a lot of teams, is that they're going to have a lot of guys that are returning back this year who were there last year, and a lot of them were, I think, pretty key players. It turned out for them to be pretty key players when guys like Matt Storm and George Wheaton were out for a little bit. So I think that they have a good returning class in the back line that will be really, really strong. I think that their front row is going to be really strong, like I've put them in the top 5 front rows in the country. I know that they have Josefa Maloney Fiola coming back, and he'll be one of the bigger locks in the country, because he's not also just tall, but he's also pretty wide and solid. So I don't know how much he's grown in the off season, but if he's grown another 2 inches and maybe slimmed up a bit, where he becomes a lot more mobile than big, maybe he's one of those guys to look at it as one of the prospecting locks coming out for like New Zealand secondary schools, things like in those scenarios, like especially for the Blues as well. So for those reasons, I've put them at 5th, because of their solid forward pack and their back line, which is just packed with talent. Now for the back line, I've gone with, I think Taufa will be at number 9 again, and he's going to be one of the best halfbacks for next year. Like, I know he's going to be really good this year, he's going to be really dominant, but next year I think that's when he's going to get a shot in New Zealand secondary schools. We're pretty packed at halfback right now this year for New Zealand secondary schools and for those top honours. Doesn't mean that he can't get there, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of players that he'll probably have to compete with. But next year, he's probably going to be maybe the first or second best halfback in the country. So he'll be there at number 9. The midfield is probably going to be one of the best, probably maybe second to Hamilton Boys this year, with AJ. With AJ and Lemeki coming in there, so and AJ's always been and AJ's not that solid. He's really tall, and he's kind of got he looks like he's lanky, and that he's not that athletic, but then when you see him with the ball, he makes really good decisions. He makes really good decisions with such little space, and he never really just plays for himself. He plays to get attention rather than to break the line for himself. That's kind of how he is, and he's really good with that short space kind of thing, and his footwork is really fast, and it goes really well with him just giving the ball. So he'll do a little step into the space, make sure he kind of catches attention, maybe not draws them physically, but catches their attention, and then gives the ball off. And Lemeki really, really does benefit a lot of his ball skills. And then after that, once Lemeki gets the ball, Lemeki's actually really strong for a guy that is not that physically big, and he doesn't even look like he's that strong either, but he actually is. I've seen him fight off guys with just fens, and then he steps into his fens, which is really good. Then kind of counterbalances himself to get back to his position again, which creates a lot of space. Actually knocks the guy to the ground on most occasions, and then he's got his he works well with his wingers outside him, which puts actually the pressure on the other winger to say, well, who do I go with? Do I come over or do I have to wait for the fullback? So like Lemeki will give you those advantages and making sure that you have the upper hand once you're attacking. Josh Carr and Terry Pongai will be the wingers, and Terry is actually really good. Like I think he's a really good midfielder, and I think he's only losing out because they have better midfielders. But I think if he was on any other school, he would be a midfielder because I've seen him play second five in a preseason game, and he was just fire as second five. And because he's so solid, short and solid, and he's just explosive on the hit, that's what I see him at second five as one of those kind of guys, and he can hit as well. A lot older guys, and so once he hits, because he's only year 12, so once he hits year 13 next year, he might be one of those guys that we have to watch out for to see if he might have a chance at the New Zealand secondary schools. Now, my trouble is when I come to the position of first five. Now, they have Shea Fihaki as well as one. Brian Leleofano was another one. And I think if one doesn't play first five, then the other one will play fullback. Me personally, I think Brian might be a better first five than he is a fullback. So if you were to put that into play, you'd have Shea be like, well, if you play a better first five than you do fullback, then I go to the back kind of thing. And so I think Shea might actually end up at fullback, and then Brian will probably end up at first five. Now I think that there's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of scoring in this game in their games if the forward pack can suss themselves out. Now I know that the forward pack is going to be really good. They're always going to be good, but I don't know who's going to fill in those 6, 7, 8 spots. Christian is Favai is probably like is probably the best guy that I'd probably go for, and Christian will probably be at open side. But as for the 6 and 8, I'm not really too sure. I know that they have a couple of options, but I'm not too sure how good that they will be filling in those spots. So Christian, I think, would probably be there at open side, and I'd want to get someone maybe that's year 12, maybe even year 11 to sort of be the old head next year and to sort of gather some experience. But that is what I think they're going to do. I mean, Fatungia, Crusader, and Macaulay is probably going to be so dominant in the front row. So that's where I would target as well. Like, I mean, if I was coach Ledger, I'll be smashing that forward pack and just getting them to dominate everywhere. That's my preview for the preseason. Ranked number 5, Sacred Heart. That's my preview. Peace.